public hearing for a rezone application. I'm gonna let Joe take it from here.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as the mayor just announced, we have a rezoning application hearing. The procedure we will follow is I will call the matter for public hearing, and then I will call the applicant forward to address to the council what the applicant requests. I will then ask, is there anybody here to speak in favor of the request? If you are here to speak in favor, that would be your opportunity to speak. I will then ask, is there anyone here to speak in opposition to the request? If you are here for that purpose, then that would be your opportunity to speak. We will then give the applicant an opportunity to respond to any comments that are made, and then close the public hearing, and the matter will be voted on during the regular agenda. It is item number 12 on the agenda. The matter to be heard tonight is property located at Cornelia Highway and Belton Bridge Road, Hall County tax parcels 0906456 and 0906462. Elevation Construction and Grading LLC seeks to rezone the property, which consists of 16.99 acres from highway business to heavy industrial to allow use as a poultry hatchery. Is the applicant in attendance?
Yes, sir.
Come up, please, sir.
Good evening. We just wanted to come speak. We have, as you know, we had a plan to rezone the entire three parcels, but now we're only seeking to rezone really the 2 parcels, consisting of about 11 acres, 12 acres, I should say, two heavy industrial, which would include the hatchery. It's kind of sits off the road, down off 365, so you really wouldn't see it with the greenery. About 8 acres of that is going to remain green with the setbacks, green space, and with the stream buffers, and approximately 10 acres is going to be disturbed of that. We have kept the 3rd parcel, which is just behind the corner, the pin corner of 365 and Belton Bridge Road. That's approximately almost 7 acres that we're going to keep. We're not going to rezone that one. That was going to remain the commercial zoning that it currently is. So those are the only 2 changes to our plan.
Any questions for the applicant at this time? Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anyone here to speak in favor of this request? Anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition or against the request? Anyone here to speak against the request? Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jim Greer, 6641 Main Street. I just wanted to say that I have reviewed the revised application, and as far as that goes, it's probably the best use of the ground if that's the use you're going to make of it. My objection is still that we're rezoning valuable commercial business land at a site that is probably at a corner of the intersection of Belton Bridge Road. It is probably the most viable plot of land for commercial use that we have here in Lula at this time. If we chop off pieces of it like this, we're dropping quite a few acres out of it, and that limits the ability of a developer to be able to develop both a parcel such as a grocery store at that corner, plus the out parcels or other retail shops that are typically associated with grocery stores. Think of the Kroger store down at exit 24. So that site down there was a bit larger than what we currently have available up here on that corner. But if we make it smaller, here again, it's not going to be as attractive to developers who want to bring the type of development that I hear many people saying we want in Lula, and that's commercial use property out on Highway 365. So that is my opposition, that I think we're rezoning good property to a use that's less than its highest and best use. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition?
Robert Rezoning, Airmore Way. I agree with what Jim has said. A lot of it is the land. Now, I too have reviewed it. They've been really great in sharing information with what their revised plan is. I mean, the elevation of that property drops off sharply there from the highway, and probably entails a lot of the problem if it could go back further, but the land is not that deep. Also, I agree that is probably the only commercial land that Lula has left where you could put a grocery store. I know for a fact that, Ingalls has looked at it. We had it sold to Ingalls many years ago and, fell through because of property owners. But it's got the right depth for a grocery store. But if you take some away from that, that may be hard to get it back to where you could have something like that. If they could put it further back, I think that might be something to look at. But it needs to be far enough back, which is going to take a whole lot more grading, so it leaves that road frontage for commercial development, because we need it. We all, I believe about probably over 50% of the people in Lula would love to have a grocery store, an actual grocery store, without driving all the way to Kroger or driving up to Cornelia. And I believe that's about the only property in Lula that's going to be viable for, with everything else built up below 52 now. So above 52, that's all we have, because with the water treatment plant, we don't have anything over there. The corner over there doesn't have enough property. So I think it really needs to be revisited and looked at. Is there a way, if we do decide to allow it there, to bring it closer back to the property line on the back side with grading and green space, and give enough property space on the front side of it that we could still look at commercial development. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak in opposition to the request?
Okay, everybody talking about grocery stores. We really need a grocery store. But turn around. Also, y'all need to quit playing around with that $7,500 tap, because you almost stopped the subdivisions on Atchison Street. We need that subdivision. Have heads up to supply a grocery store. So y'all here tonight, you gotta figure out if you're gonna do heavy commercial stuff or you want a grocery store. So it's time to y'all put your heads together.
Belton would. Anybody else here to speak in opposition? Yes, sir.
Yes, Roy Hall, 5152 Mountain View Parkway. I'd just like to echo other citizens. To me, that's the best land use would be what's, proposals or proposed projects for commercial that have been mentioned. I agree that that's most suited for that property. I understand the property owner's point of view and what they're trying to do, but I just disagree that that's the place for some. I know there's a hatchery, I've heard, on 52. So, but to have two different accesses to whatever you build there seems to be the optimal situation, where you can be accessed from 365 or from Belton Bridge Road. So I just would like to echo the others, citizens. Thank you.
Anybody else here to speak in opposition to the request? Anybody else in opposition? Applicant is given an opportunity, if you choose, to respond to the opposition comments.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the folks who are speaking in opposition to it, but we are off the corner. We are on the back right-hand corner to try to keep that corner so it can be a grocery store. There's some challenges to even what's left on the corner. There's some creeks and stuff that are all right along the frontage of 365. So it's questionable what you could do with the property, but that's why we are keeping about 7 acres of our proposed rezoning remaining commercial. So still could do a grocery store there. Part we're focusing on is kind of sitting down below grade. It's not a good spot for commercial development anyway. It would require too much dirt infill, and it would probably render that pretty tough economically to bring back up. So we tried to resolve or address some of those that are in opposition to this rezoning request by keeping that 7 acres away from the current heavy industrial rezoning and remaining that as commercial. So.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll declare the public hearing closed, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Joey. Glad to see everyone here. There we go. I think they put that down, cut this off, I think what happened. I don't know. Hello? Hello, hello.
No, that one's not on either.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Glad to see y'all here. We're not gonna do a song and dance now. Take the microphone out. Glad to see all y'all here. Appreciate your public hearing there, Joey, and we got a real good crowd tonight. We're gonna start this off. We'll have an invocation by Eric Stewart, and we'll say the pledge of the flag. Eric.
Let's pray. Father, we love you. Just thankful for another opportunity to gather here. We just pray, Lord, tonight as the council looks at things and talks through things and makes decisions, God, that you would just give them wisdom and guidance. And Lord, may everything that's done here tonight just honor you and be done with love, peace, and fellowship. And we ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Tom Citizen's comments. Here's the ground report one more time. Time for citizen public comment will lay down at the beginning and ending of each city Lula work session and council meeting. Comments can be made by anyone, including business owners whose businesses are located in the city limits. Comments will not be limited to any topic. Comments must be directed to the mayor and the council. Language must remain civil, and the speaker should avoid personal attacks on the council or staff. The speaker should state their name and address. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. A time will be set, and within 3 minutes, the speaker will ask to bring the comment to a close. If there is something else to be said, the opportunity will be available for the next session to offer citizen comments. All right, citizen comments now open. We all want to speak? One evening tonight. All right. Thank you. You're welcome to speak. There's been no opportunity in the meeting to speak to it. Okay. Is everybody seen minutes from last meeting? You may see changes on the minutes?
Yes, I did. There's an executive session meeting with minutes that does have the attendees list that needs to be revised. That's for June 19th. At least that's what I'd seen when it was, sent to us last week. June 19th.
Yeah, I see that, yeah. She got corrected on the printed copy.
I got it corrected on the printed copy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so the attendees list, has only active council members?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Good catch. Anything else anybody catch here? I entertain a motion of approval.
I make a motion that we approve.
Motion made by Denise Shaw to approve the minutes. Second by Garner Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Unanimous. And I'll sign one down. Okay, the yard one is autumn leaves and pumpkins, please. And for District 1, we had Randall Lee, 5371 Rocky Bluff Way. District 2, we had Megan Little, 5558 Pine Street. In District 3, 6108 Carter Street. District 4, Richard Pope, 5368 Mountain View Parkway. District 5, Heather Spratton, 204 Brookside Drive. Congratulations to all those. That was all in this month, please. At the end of the month, we're gonna do a Halloween judging. So, since Halloween is the last day of the month, we're gonna do judging right around that time, so if I have it all done and ready for the kids to see them Halloween night. We'll announce that next month's meeting. Okay. Can't we have money left?
No. Spend it all.
All right. I'm sure she's joking about that, but, yes, I knew that. But, Dennis is out, and, we'll get his full financial report probably next month, I hope.
I hope so too. Even if he's not here, he should give me an update.
The design architects, did we ever get I didn't get a schedule on them, did you?
No.
And all the schedule, Tandy? No schedule there either.
Nope.
Water and sewer, the backup generator at the Fifth Creek pump station is being moved to Oconee and we're doing the outside of the building. We're also doing this tour of Victoria Lane well. And Belton Bridge water line construction contract, I signed those tonight. Huh?
We will need to take a vote on that,
Oh,
on the contract.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you had asked y'all had asked the engineer and me to review that
Oh, okay.
for tonight's
Okay.
meeting,
I was
and we
thinking,
did.
I was thinking, okay. Belton Bridge water line construction contract, I forgot the total now, but we looked at it last week and started the total, but I don't remember the thing. You got it right there in front of you. It's about $110,000, something like that.
It'll be right
I have no clue.
I don't see.
Yep.
I think it's $110,000.
I think so.
Put the water line out through Belton Bridge, out through 365.
there. And it was the low bid.
It was the low bid.
So I think it was 109.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Yeah, it was
I
right.
have it.
There was a page that said it 109.
Or somewhere.
Total 110,362.
There you go.
That's it.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve this contract and then get the water line get started.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Motion made by Tim Brown to approve the water line contract with Belton Bridge Road. Will be a second.
Second.
Second by Donnie Smith. All those say aye.
Aye.
All those say no. It's unanimous. Okay. We're still trying to find some wells. I understand that Grant has another one, got one to look at too, right? Okay, the utility committee meeting that we're going to try to schedule was also for the garbage trash day discussion. That's what we're supposed to meet, I wanted to meet the utility committee, and you sent an email about the garbage trash
Right.
being collection. You want to sort of drive us through that, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. On the garbage trash fee, you have an ordinance from 1973, and we currently have a contract for the collection service that would allow exemption if you choose to make it for any reason. And then the second was that service is unable to be provided because they can't get the receptacles to the edge of the street and safely have the vehicles turn around. And in that situation, under our contract, it is the service provider's duty to contact those owners or occupants of those properties and make arrangements for those garbage receptacles to be located somewhere else where it is convenient for the occupant of the home as well as the service vehicle. So you'd ask whether it was permissible for those two items to be exempted from the garbage trash fee. And I'm not familiar enough to know what the system that is utilized for that fee as to whether you have to go in and do that manually at the city and whether that's feasible to be
Now, on
done.
this question, the logistics of
Right.
working the building out, Tanner, are you familiar enough? Can you help us out with that? We have water on the customers, we have sewer on the customers, we have, trash on the customers. We also have water and sewer customers, we have water, sewer, and trash customers, so.
We have the capability of removing that fee.
Can I make a motion tonight to remove the two people I mentioned last week?
Let me, that's something else we gotta do, we gotta get the logistics, we gotta note, the trash company has notified them that we're gonna discontinue.
Right, right, we have to send a written notice,
Yes,
yes.
that's something knows that they're gonna discontinue the service, and we gotta make sure which ones are exempt, that they're not gonna give service to. So we gotta take them off our building, it's just a two-step process. We have a contract with garbage disposal people, and, we also have a contract with our customers,
Right.
basically. So we got to buy both contracts. Am I doing it right?
You are, you are.
So the waste people have to notify customers that they're going to quit delivering their garbage, or the citizen can request to be removed, and they can agree to that. Right, that's waste management's choice. And then once that happens, they got to notify us who they're not delivering garbage to.
And so
And
if
then we
you,
have to change our billing cycle.
if you go through with the motion, it would be subject to providing the written notice before the fee could be removed. So I would not want the customer to think if you approve those folks being removed, right, that it would happen immediately because we have some contractual obligations to notify those folks. And I assume it would be roughly 30 days before we'd be able to get that removed from their bill.
Can I make that motion tonight and allow the 30 days or whatever it takes?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So does this mean those that are that can't get this service?
Or don't want the service, is the way I read it too.
Would only, for now, we would only be addressing the two that were brought up at the work session.
Okay.
I thought we would,
Jerry Schuler and Tony Cornett.
well, I thought we would approve the ability, one, we needed to identify the ability to have it.
Which,
So logistically, we can. And then two, the provisions that Joey has just indicated were that, you know, we do already have it in contract that there are provisions to do that as long as it's made in writing. So those are actually already exist.
yeah.
So in this particular case, what you're wanting to do, Garnet, is a list two individuals that have already, been identified?
Right.
Okay,
But the trash company has to also be involved in this too.
yeah.
So they have to notify them as well that they're not going to pick the garbage up anymore. It's not automatically not going to pick the garbage up tomorrow. It's a contractual thing with waste management. But we can do it, they can be the first thing on the list, if that's what we want, but the list doesn't start tomorrow.
That's right.
So now,
And I would
I
say,
want to write this up and it was fun.
well, I would say, the one individual that was mentioned, and I know it was on here before. I would just say, remove me from any approval tonight. The reason for that is there would still be discrepancies as to what the waste hauler or the carrier, the system that they're using, and money that's the city has actually already paid, and whether the hauler acknowledges that they hadn't collected that trash or refuse since January. So if they're charging us, then that's something that we should address with them on a separate issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just keep it just with the one individual that was discussed. If we want to have that vote tonight, we can certainly do that.
Well, we can do it.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion for Jerry Schuler.
Larry.
Larry Schuler.
Okay, the motion is to offer exemption from waste, garbage, disposal fees to individuals that requested through waste management, or they request the customer be removed from the list. Then, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, so, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joey, so the residents of the city of Lula are our customers, and then we are the customer of Waste Management.
Correct.
So that if a resident calls Waste Management, they're probably not gonna get very far with them.
So, yeah, the voluntary withdrawal should be through the city, but then we'll have to contact Waste Management, and they'll have to send a letter to them saying that they agree to the terms.
Yes. Like that should be right.
And we would send it on behalf of the city, and then they would follow up with the
Right.
customer, yes.
Sorry.
So we'll collect the minutes here. We'll collect the minutes at City Hall.
Right.
Now, can anybody write that down for us?
Alright, okay. Just that, because I'm confused. It's I need to make sure, are we voting on the individual or for an overall here? That's where I'm messed up on.
That will be your policy. This one tonight would apply to the one individual who's made the request.
Okay, so we're just doing for the one individual tonight.
But you
So
said
we don't
our
have to
policy.
go to, yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I was,
This does go through Waste Management.
yeah, but we're just voting on the one individual, I think, right?
Tonight you are, but that's what the mayor's saying, is that would thereby affect. You'd in effect have created a policy so that if another
need to do a
individual
pol-
wanted to come
okay.
forward, they would be able to follow that same process.
And I would believe that those individuals would need to approach the city,
Right.
not
Right.
Not,
the carrier.
right.
And then we have to send the notice, so the key is sending the written notice to the customer and to your service provider.
So do we need to make two motions, just all in one motion? Okay, that's where I was messed up. Sorry.
I was trying to get all at one time.
Okay,
That's what I was
that's
trying
what
to.
I was just,
I was trying to get all at
I
one
want
time.
to make sure I was understanding that.
Go ahead, bring it back. That's what I was trying to-
What I was
Okay,
doing.
so the motion is to grant Larry Sugar an exemption from collection of fees of waste management. That's our motion tonight, is that correct?
Yes.
And we'll go through the process, okay. All right, that's your motion, right?
I made the motion.
To exempt Larry Sugar from.
I'll second.
Okay, I've got motion by Garner Smith, second by Denise Shopley, to exempt Larry Sugar from waste trash fee
Right.
in Belton to the city. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. We gotta bring it back again next.
Could you sit for
Okay, I hear one. All right, the election update, early voting started today. The ballots, how many ballot boxes we got? 2, 3?
We just have one tabulator.
Okay. But then, how many booths do you have to vote on time?
5, I believe. I haven't been back there.
So, okay, so we can, early vote at City Hall from 8 AM to 5 PM,
Mhm.
Monday through Saturday this week, Monday through
Monday
Saturday.
through Friday, and then Saturday will be 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then I have an update to give.
Oh,
I don't like talking in front of people, so sorry. For those that don't know me, I'm Tangi Garner, the city clerk. I would like to give an update on the municipal election. The city of Lula has an agreement with Hall County Board of Elections and Registration to conduct any and all municipal elections. The city shall furnish all documents to the election board, including but not limited to election and candidates for the positions. The election board shall be responsible for providing all election materials, equipment, software, supplies, personnel, and assistance to ensure that required municipal elections shall be conducted in a safe, efficient, secure, and orderly fashion. The city shall perform the following duties: qualifying of candidates, including but not limited to arranging for publication of any applicable qualifying fee notice and qualifying period notice. Act as a filing officer for all financial statements with the State Ethics Commission. Review and approve all calls of election prepared by the Elections Board for accuracy prior to publication. The Elections Board shall certify the results of any municipal election conducted on behalf of the city as provided by law. The certification process will be held at an appointed time agreed by the election director, who serves at the pleasure of the Elections Board and the city clerk of the city. I am giving you this update to give the residents and candidates a better understanding on how the municipal election process works. and to clarify some false accusations that have been brought against me on social media. I do not handle any ballots whatsoever. Absentee ballots are requested from Hall County Board of Elections, mailed from them, and mailed back to them. When you early vote or vote on election day, you vote and a ballot is printed out, and then you place it in the tabulator. This counts your vote, and it is stored in a secured box that is not open until it returns back to Hall County Board of Elections by them. Everything is done by Hall County. All the election equipment is brought in by Hall County Board of Elections, set up by them. Everything is secured with seals that have to be written down and kept. I encourage any and all of you that have any questions in regards to the election to contact Lori Warts, the elections director, or Paige Thompson with the Hall County Board of Elections, and I encourage all to come out and vote. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Oh, no, downtown development, I did, didn't I?
Pretty good.
Okay. There was some discussion about downtown development authority, I'm trying to find my notes.
It's the Lula Development Authority that is, as I understood it, was the request, which includes the service area, water and sewer service area, in addition to the incorporated area of Lula. And I sent y'all the forms, nomination forms that had been approved in 2019, as well as the ad. If you choose to move forward, we'll run that ad and get you the nomination forms. The terms for the appointees, if you choose to move forward, would be through the end of 2024 for 2 members and through the end of 2026 for 2 members.
For those that are curious, the development authority of Lula would be helpful in.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead and explain it to me for me.
Oh, the Development Authority? So the Development Authority, I don't know what year that was put in place. Was that 2021? Do you recall?
It was 19.
No, 2019. Okay. So the council had approved a Development Authority to be established and existing in 2019. However, I think their original request for applicants to fill those director positions didn't go so well, so they didn't get the feedback they were looking for, so that they weren't filled, those positions weren't filled. So therefore, in this particular request, this is to advertise again the application process for 4 directors. There are 7 directors. One includes the mayor. On whoever the current sitting mayor is would be on that development authority, and then there's criteria for each of the other 6 seats. So we're wanting to advertise to solicit applicants to apply for the development authority. I'm not sure what the time frame on that is. It's probably listed on there. But again, we have to review the applicants and then approve each applicant. So that's what the request is for. Development authorities would be able to, as indicated in the 2019 document, that's what would be utilized to help us bring in any development that's not currently being pursued by private industry. So if we felt as a city that we needed something and we would love to have, if the citizens want something here that the private industry is not clamoring to purchase property and build, we could set the development authority with the express purpose of trying to fulfill that need through contacts. Now, one thing to keep in mind is with that development authority, those are not paid positions. Those are just directorships with no pay involved in it at all. So that's what we're hoping to gain interest for applicants that want to be part of our development authority. And I hope I've been able to explain that.
A lot better than I would. That's a lot better than I would.
Sure.
So what we need to do is vote on whether we're going to advertise the appointments. After we're advertising for this, we can advertise, we can appoint 3 of them, and the mayor's going to one of them after that, correct? That, so we're going to advertise 3 appointments to the Development Authority.
It would be, 1 member is the mayor, 3 members, yeah, 3 members would, so these are the appointments. 3 members have to be a taxpayer residing in the city of Lula, taxpayer residing in Hall County who owns or operates a business located within the city, or a taxpayer residing in Hall County who owns or operates a business located within either the water or sewer service area of the city. And then the fourth member would be either a taxpayer residing in Hall County or a person who owns or operates a business located within Hall County that could be appointed by the city. So those are the four members that you would be appointing.
And then, there's two other members, let's see. There's two other members, one from the Government Authority in Hall County and one appointed by Hall County.
Yes.
So there's seven members all talk about. We control five of them and Hall County control two of them.
That's right.
Okay, now then, I'll entertain a motion to advertise for the appointments to the Development Authority.
I'll make a motion that we advertise the appointment or applications for the 4 seats for the City of Lula Development Authority.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Tony Cornett, second by Denise Shelton, to advertise a bid for the full position for the City of Lula Development Authority. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Unanimous. Okay, now then, number 9, the Chattahoochee Code replacement, engineer gives an update. We're supposed to have a discussion about that. We didn't have a chance to get a committee. Before we're going to discuss that in the committee meeting about what options to use. Did my memory serve me right on that?
Yes, and we did not
We didn't
have
didn't deal
a
with.
utility committee meeting to discuss that. That was the 3 options,
Yeah. Yeah.
ranging from 230,000 up to 320,000.
We want to do it in full council, or rather have a meeting and bring it back full council? I think,
How does everyone want to have additional opportunity to
look at it, or
discuss that?
look at it, discuss it, or how you want to handle it. We can actually vote on it tonight, is my knowledge. Because we gotta get, we need to give the architect a direction sometime soon, or we can just schedule a committee meeting and come back next month. That's what I'm
I'd
thinking.
rather schedule a meeting.
Okay.
I'd rather go to committee.
Okay.
Personally, I don't,
Mhm. I think that's best.
Utility meeting,
The financial magnitudes.
yeah.
yeah. Utility meeting, you know, try to schedule it now, you know, like in the meeting.
If it's for this week, I can schedule now. If it's for next week, I can't schedule till tomorrow,
How about
because I
we-
won't know till tomorrow.
We can schedule this, through email or something like that later, about that same, sometime.
Sounds fine. Yep.
Schedule it later, schedule it sometime tomorrow or something, okay? Okay. Okay. Joe has advertised amendments to the zoning and zoning and subdivision regulations. You've advertised that, is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And,
And I'll get y'all copies of those.
And first hearing is planning commission on November 7th, and we're here next month on council meeting on November 20th, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Again? Oh, paper
Maybe.
balls. Oh, paper, yeah. Bids on next week, this is day 16, yeah, next Tuesday. Yeah, so bids on the paper project for the city of Love, and we'll point them in the right direction once we get the prices in. That's what our plan is. Because they've already been advertised, and bids, I think they're due to be open on the 24th, with our original 19th, it's 24th. That was correct. Okay, now then, we're down on 12. Okay, this is the proposed rezone for the property on Belton Road at 365, properties 62, 56, and 53. They want to rezone everything except 53, they want to zone 56 to Heavy Industrial from Highway Business. Okay. We've heard discussion, any more discussion on that one? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to deny it.
Motion made by Jenny Bradley to deny.
I'll second that.
Got a second by Tony Cornett. All in favor of denying the request, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Unanimous. Okay, these are bank requests, we don't have all the paperwork on them, is, anybody want? So we don't have all the paperwork, the bank request, we gotta have the paperwork all done correctly before you can consider, so we'll consider next time. Okay. Number 14, the Lula ladies are having a community meal. He said, please join the Lula ladies in a fun afternoon spent celebrating and honoring our local veterans. Bring the family out for some free chili and hot dogs for all the fixings. You do not have to be a veteran to celebrate. It's going to be at the depot on,
It's on November the 12th.
yeah, number with, yeah, we didn't get on that one, did we?
Yeah, it didn't. So
It's on the, I've got.
we got two more. But yes, Mayor, it is November the 12th, that's a Sunday, and it's from 2 to 4, so a little bit later lunch. Everyone, it's a community meal, but we will be recognizing veterans.
Thank you for that. Also, on Saturday the 21st, I think, is at First Liberty Baptist Church.
Yes, this
Fall
Saturday.
Festival.
Yep.
At,
Pumpkins at the park at Wellness Park from 1 to 3. Everybody's invited. Come out, bring the kiddos.
And also, we have a fall tent revival at Ball Field, starting on the 22nd through the 27th, Sundays at 6 p.m. and Friday at 7 p.m. So that's another happening, all right. Wednesday, October 25th, the Lula ladies having lunch and dinner, noon for lunch, 6:30 for dinner. The Historical Society meets on the fourth Monday, which is next Monday. And all invited to attend that. All right, the Fall Festival recap, you know, just said, next, oh, you have it?
We can go ahead and give some information. Juliet Talley, 146 Brookside Drive. I'm also the event coordinator for the Fall Festival. We obviously don't have the financials done, but that's usually something we tell in our meetings. We had 103 vendors, over 130 booths, more people in attendance than any other festival on record with the Historical Society of Lula Belton, over 7 hours of entertainment. The total cost for the equipment and the entertainment was $1,800. Thankfully, the city was able to donate $1,500 of that. It's also our most successful event to date, and we actually had a lot more positive feedback about the location and everything we were able to do this year than we've ever had. So we considered it a success.
Can you ask me what?
Sure.
If we move that, including the lower ball field, you think we can use that as a dog event?
Unfortunately, we cannot get vehicles within that lower field. We cannot get the vehicles in the way the gate works to be able to either use it as parking or to be able to get our vendors in there with their equipment.
So that's something we can change for you.
If we can get the ball field changed up and it's not just the angle, apparently it's also the way the ground slopes. There's a lot that would have to be done for it to be utilized. No, if we can get that fixed, sure, I can.
I knew the market, I know the field better, I'm just curious if it would help people, bring more people in.
We actually have already got plans. We're going to start reaching out to a bunch of the churches and see if maybe we can't run shuttles from the churches to help with the parking situations that we always have, in addition to Chaser and everybody else we utilize.
We're using TextMyGov for the city of Louisville for emergency notification. If y'all want to sign up for that, it's text Louisville to 91896. That's all there is to it. That's the beauty of what you see. SPLOST Citizen Review Committee will be here next Monday night to discuss the SPLOST.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. That's the night the Historical Society meets here at the Lula.
I thought that one night.
As you were saying it,
No, last week I knew something on mine, I had there's two things, I said, well, there's something.
It does say tentative,
Yeah,
I don't know
I-
if it has been confirmed.
That's probably.
We'll double check this.
We'll check it. I guess that's all I can. We want to do that. We've got a proposed council retreat, proposed date is November 29th. We discussed today. We're going out to council, good for everybody?
Yes.
Got it? November 29th? Good. We'll schedule that for the Brandon Conference Center. You got it scheduled, the council retreat.
Yeah, we'll, they're in communication with Dennis, so
Yeah.
we'll send back to Dennis and let him know.
Okay, we got citizens' comments next. We're gonna have an executive session tonight. Oh, no, wait, whoa. The executive session, that was one simple matter. We don't have to have it. It was a, help me out with the word.
Just approval of the
Consent
consent
order,
order,
okay.
and it was the,
Oliver
what I
property.
call the Tom Oliver parcel for the sewer line I. In condemnation, you acquire it, but you sometimes continue litigating over money, and we've been doing that, and it was scheduled on trial, and they came back around to what we had offered at mediation. And if council approves that consent order, I would appreciate it.
I'd like to entertain a motion.
I make a motion to
Approve it.
approve the consent order.
Motion made by Jim Brown to approve.
Second.
Consent order for Tom Oliver property, second by Johnny Smith. All opposed say aye.
Thank you.
All opposed say no. Unanimous. Okay, now then. You got it covered, right?
Yes.
Citizen comments. You have anything to say?
Did you do number 13? Or did I just miss it?
Oh, I asked you somebody, are you going to do it? We have,
No, what it
the
is.
banner request had not been completely, so we had nothing to discuss about it.
So it's not being done?
We've got a letter, but it didn't specify exactly what they want done as far as banners go. We're going to put size of property, so we got to have all those details put in.
Okay.
It's just a question. Somebody has to go with the banner, probably, we don't know exactly what property wants banner, how much they want. We don't know all the details.
I just didn't know where it was.
We don't either.
Okay.
We need more details.
Yeah, a lot more details. That one we have no details on. The hell, another one probably would work too, but we got to do it, but we know that. Okay, good question. Now, more citizen comments?
Robert Grizzle, Narrowmore Way, Lula. You know, just like to comment with the election being close. I know a lot of tensions are going high, a lot of division, but a lot of emotions run high. I hear about the Facebook thing going back and forth. Now, for one, don't have Facebook, but I wish I had the time to be on Facebook like a lot of people do, but use that time for something more productive than being on Facebook. But I think everybody should be considerate of everyone, but also be considerate of property owners with the signage going up, that even though it's right-of-way, that right-of-way, if maintained by a property owner, is got to say so if you put a political sign on it or not. And also that afterwards, that the signs are picked up and cleaned up afterwards. But I think everybody needs to be very considerate of, you know, where they put signs, and also this moving signs, talking, pulling them down, this, that, and the other needs to be addressed, and, you know, needs to stop. But definitely be respectful of people's property. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay, Belton Wood again. Okay.
Mr. Wood would like to address, okay, I'm Lance Crawford, okay, speaking for Mr. Wood, would like to address a situation that occurred at the Fall Festival, okay, on September the 30th regarding parking, okay. It appears that Mr. Wood and his family parked in a spot.
Yeah, we can't.
Excuse me.
Nobody can hear you.
Where this supposed to be?
Just turn around. Is it on?
I don't know, is it on?
No.
I'll turn mine on.
Does this go? Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. This is an incident that occurred at the Fall Festival in a parking lot, okay, on September the 30th of this year, it's my understanding. It occurred after Mr. Wood and his family pulled into a parking space that was not designated as a handicap parking only space. And it's my understanding that representatives of the Fall Festival came up and pretty much accosted Mr. Wood and his family in a very disrespectful manner. And I'd just like to say that that reflects very badly on the image of the city. Now, we have a photograph here of the parking space where Mr. Wood was at, right in front of that red building. And the first thing is, if you're going to designate parking spaces as handicapped only, they certainly should be properly designated. Go ahead and hand that stuff out. Georgia Code Section 40-6-221 states that parking place for persons with disabilities means any area on public or private property which has been designated as reserved for use of persons with disabilities as follows. By blue metal reflective sign, which is at least 12 inches in width and 18 inches in length, and is erected at a height of 7 feet from the bottom of the sign to the ground surface. There's absolutely no sign there, okay? Yet Mr. Wood and his family were accosted. And I'll let Mr. Wood address how they were accosted.
Anyway, I approached the ball fields, and I went down to the bottom of the ball field to drop off my grandson and my wife. Now, he's handicapped, like I stated, and turn around, I'm not letting him walk across that road with that heavy traffic down there. I know we put a stop sign to try to slow him down, but I'd appreciate y'all address all of the sign ordinances after this election. Even like the box truck that was come up in the last meeting, Mr. Smith. Just because the sign says box doesn't mean a box truck. It's for 18-wheelers that y'all went and made it where they couldn't park. You know, because that box truck is not classified as an 18-wheeler. Thank you.
Well, describe what happened after you.
I entered the ball fields, okay. And then I got stopped and said, you can't park here, handicap parking.
And who said that?
It was someone at the front of the thing, and then turned around. I said, I'm going back there to drop my wife and my grandson off. I went back, and then I was approached by a gentleman, and then Drew come back there on the little four-wheeler thing y'all got. You can't park there, and just, you know, everybody was rude.
Well, describe
I wasn't
how
parking.
they were rude.
I was.
Describe how they were rude.
He said, you can't park there. And I said, look, go on back up there with the historic side and leave me alone. My truck was still running, I was trying to get my grandson out. Now, I don't appreciate being harassed. You know, that's a public event, you know, point blank. And when I'm out here with my grandsons, leave me alone. That's all I asked.
And was it more than one person?
Yes, there was another person that come down, he was filming, and I said, you can't park there. I said, I got my truck running, I'm trying to drop my grandson off. Then Tylee, and I think her mother come down on the little four-wheeler thing too. You know, I don't appreciate that.
Council
What did
has
they say?
requested in their ruling
No,
for
no.
public comment to not direct it at staff, but just because we don't need a back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just bringing up, you know, if they gonna handle these events, we all need to know if that's gonna be the whole parking lot handicap or just 1 or 2 places. Because when I pulled in there, it wasn't all handicap parking. There was a few people that didn't have handicap tags or nothing like that,
Okay,
you know.
all right. Were there other vehicles parked
Yes,
in those spaces?
yes.
Did the other vehicles have handicap parking permits, decals?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
Okay, thank y'all.
Do you have a handicap tag?
I have,
Did Felton have a handicap tag?
I didn't need one because that wasn't handicap parking where I was at, and I didn't park. I went down there to drop my grandson off.
Y'all start.
So the answer is no, right? The answer is no, he did not have a handicap parking permit. Right, no.
I have a comment. Okay, go ahead. As a handicapped person, there was a handicap sign there.
Could you hold the mic so they can hear you?
Just
Might want
closer to your,
Try that.
get closer to the mic. As a handicapped person, there was a sign there. I cannot walk that far, but there was a sign there, and it was marked. And everybody knows at event parkings, you're gonna have more needed spaces. They don't have to go down and mark every spot. But as long as you got your handicap sticker in your window or on your tag, they let you in. It was not an issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was that sign?
That sign was present. That's how I knew it was
that
there.
When you first pulled into
Yes.
the parking lot?
Yes. It was right out there in the front.
Show a sign too.
Because we were looking, because I didn't think I was going to be able to park and go in there. But there was the sign.
Good evening. My name is Cassie Swearingen. I'm the president of the Historical Society. We had 2 signs on each side of the entrance to that parking lot that said handicap only parking. We also had an attendant who was monitoring and watching everyone entering that parking lot. Now, I'm not saying that somebody might have slipped through that did not have a handicap tag or a handicap sticker, but we were asking. We did not have a problem with Mr. Felton dropping his child and his wife or mother off at the entrance. However, he parked. When you are dropping someone off, you pull in to be able to turn around. Mr. Felton, according to a video, was directly parked. Now, as to not having parking signs, unfortunately, that is not true. We did have 2 big signs at the entrance of the ballpark that stated handicap parking only. And this was a large event, and everybody is aware in Lula that we have trouble with handicap parking. Even Railroad Days has issues with participants complaining about not having enough handicap parking. We fixed that this year by designating that entire parking lot for handicap parking. That is all I have to say. Any questions, though?
So, I have a question. So, what Mr. Wood and Lance Crawford were stating that there were other vehicles in there that did not display a handicap plate or a handicap tag. Would that be the case when someone would enter? Would they be in there as well?
There was a few cases where there was a possibility that people slipped through that we did not catch because it got very busy a few times. And because of that, we will have a better monitoring system next year. Unless you have a tag hanging from your rearview mirror or a sticker on your car, you will not be allowed unless we designate for entertainment, where we did block off a few parking spaces just for that purpose, for unloading equipment.
Yeah, and you did have, there were other vehicles in there that would not have displayed, that just sneak in or pass by But
Yes.
that was a contractual obligation from the Historical Society on the load-in, load-out procedure?
Yes.
Okay.
And those were marked with orange cones. Everything else was open to handicap parking. Any other questions?
Thank you. Anybody else?
I would like to add one additional thing about the handicap signs that were put up. They were on each side of the entrance. They were 18 by 24 inches large. They were plenty big enough. Everybody pretty much saw them if the attendant didn't say something to them. And they were volunteer attendants. So, and there were multiple attendants that said something. And unfortunately, Mr. Woods decided to, quote, cuss us out and drove past us.
So I have one more question.
Sure.
I'm not sure if it was you that stated it or if it was Cassie that stated it, but somebody had mentioned, and I think Felton himself had mentioned it, that someone was filming. I think he said, more than one, and someone was filming. So, is there video of
Yes,
this
there is.
interaction with Mr. Wood?
There is absolutely video with this interaction. And in fact, the only people that interacted with him are the person that was recording. His name is Scott. He is a volunteer for us. He was in charge of maintaining civility that day. And Drake also is on the video. The other individuals that he actually mentioned, including myself, showed up once the interaction was complete. We did not interact at all.
Okay. All right.
Does the council want to see the video? I will gladly let them see it.
I have it right here, if you'd like to.
I actually had to show, because I don't keep my sign on my window.
Uh-huh.
I actually had to show that before they let me go in there.
So there was someone stationed
Yeah.
there asking.
We actually had a truck stationed at the front.
Yeah.
The gentlemen were sitting on the tailgate. They were asking every person, and they were rotating who actually stood on the other side to help make sure it was asked from both sides of the gate.
Yeah, and I do recall, I believe that Mr. Wood and Mr. Crawford also stated, where's it at here? Let's see, he approached the ball field, went to the bottom, let's see. He says, I entered and got stopped. That was Mr. Wood that stated that. He said, I entered and got stopped just now. He said, someone at the front of the thing was his quote. So did y'all ask anyone that was stationed at the front if they had encountered Mr. Wood when he entered?
The radio call over our radios was, Mr. Wood has broken through the gate. He has gone to park. Mr. Wood has broken through the gate and cussed us out.
Okay.
Which is what sent Scott and Drake in that direction.
Okay.
And
So
the
that's
individual
why.
riding with me in the cart was actually Amy Cornett.
Okay.
Because we were on the opposite side of the field, and I was just going to make sure everything went smoothly because I was the event coordinator. It is my job to make sure all matters are handled calmly.
Okay. Does anyone on council want to see the video of the interaction with Mr. Wood?
I was down there all day. I thought they carried it out very good. I didn't see no problem. Looked like Belton just wanted to break through.
Well, and I will say this, I had several handicapped individuals, not only from our city, but other cities reach out to me personally as the event coordinator and said, thank you for once a Lula event with a large enough handicap parking area. All we had to do was show our proof of handicap. We got in, we were able to participate in the festival, and we were able to leave. No problem. It was the best thing you could have done for any of us.
I'll just say I am aware that you guys, as a historical society, did have a discussion on the amount of parking.
Yes.
That was going to be designated handicap. And
In fact, to help with this matter, we also asked our handicapped vendors to please park at Chaser Parking to allow more attendees to have that parking lot versus them taking up as much space. So we literally carted our handicap vendors back and forth so they could get to their personal vehicles all day.
So it sounds like every effort was made to try to accommodate those that were handicapped, because as you stated before, and I believe Cassie had stated before, that we have an issue with handicap parking at any event
Yes, sir.
that we hold here in Lula.
Yes.
Or parking in general, I'll say that. I mean, we all know that. We don't have parking in Lula.
And to be perfectly honest, it was not cost effective for us to put up a sign at every individual. So we blocked off the entire lot, much like every other event does across Georgia.
It was only one way in and one way out.
One way in, one way out, with signage literally stating you cannot park here without it.
Handicap parking only.
Amy Cornett, I'm also part of the Historical Society. Is this thing on?
You might have to hold it.
Push it up. That's wrong.
Just
It's
get
on.
close, just
It's
get
on.
close
You
to
just
it.
have to hold it.
Okay. I'm also part of the Historical Society. I'm just going to verify again everything that Cassie and Juliet said. The parking lot was absolutely identified as being handicap only. There were attendants at the opening verifying that. I can attest to that personally because I have a handicap tag. It's on my actual tag, so I was stopped and told this is parking lots for handicap only. And I said, thank you, it's on my tag. And I sat while he went to the back of my car and verified it and then let me through. I had no issue with that whatsoever. So yes, that parking lot was most definitely identified as being handicap only.
Yeah.
And I have a copy of the video, if you would like for me to email it to city council members. It shows that the person who initiates the problem and was vulgar and called us profane name was actually Mr. Wood, not us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Doesn't sit in there very good, does it?
It's fine, just like down here.
Anybody else?
Right here, yeah, I've got a question about handicap parking here.
Is it possible to go ahead and state your name? I'm
Curtis
sorry.
Haney, 5437 Old Colony.
Curtis Haney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
The handicap parking here for the depot is the furthest parking places there are.
But it comes up the
It's the
ramp.
closest to the ramp.
It comes up to the ramp. I'm
Yeah.
paralyzed, and it comes up to the ramp.
But it's the furthest away from the building itself.
Yeah, I do
So
understand
they
that.
should have a ramp closer. You've got a walkway up here.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is make a ramp there and have the parking on either side of it.
I'm not gonna miss it.
Yeah.
One thing about that is its elevation. The building's on a higher elevation. The ramp is at the lowest elevation of the building. I build handicap ramps, and what it is, you have to stay within a guideline under the state of Georgia or the International Building Community of a 1" in 12 rise to keep that so you can roll a wheelchair up on it. So it's always feasible to put the ramp at the lowest elevation of the building to keep the ramp from being longer with more switchbacks because you run out of room. And you have to do switchbacks to get up to it, which is more cumbersome than just going there. And yes, it is further away, but it's at the lowest possible spot to bring a ramp in.
But everybody who's handicapped is not in a wheelchair.
Well, that's true, but.
And there's only 3 handicaps, and they were sort of full tonight.
Well, this is unusual, so.
Yeah.
We might be able to
That's
add
what,
additional.
that's what the whole
handicap
discussion
spaces.
was about.
Yeah.
At the start of this conversation was parking in Lula, handicap parking in Lula. We need to redesignate and look at our signage. That was what started the whole conversation. Mine's not working out.
I think yours don't work if that one's on.
They both up at the same time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
No.
But that's what started the whole discussion. We need to look at the signage for handicap parking in Lula, and that's something we're gonna do. You know, we're also all doing that, we're trying to find more parking for Lula.
Yeah, I'll say what Curtis just said is a good idea. Of course, we'd all have to evaluate that and look at the requirements as to what might be required, you know, if you do put a handicap space somewhere.
It's like
I mean,
Robert said, the ADA says you gotta only 12.
well, yeah, I'm just saying, can we have additional that are elsewhere that are not accessible? So I don't know, we'd have to evaluate
Oh,
that.
yeah, everybody be other locations?
Yeah, just
Oh, okay.
multiple, yeah.
And then you've got to have a van accessible location per every, you know, like if you do 3, you've got to have 1 van accessible.
Right.
You got to have 1 wide. And, you know, like Curtis said, you know, not everybody is not got the problem that they need the ramp.
Yeah.
You know, some people, some don't, but that's just why they're put there,
Yeah.
is to do the shortest ramp and keep that level. Trust me, I did one at the YMCA down there, me and Jim Walters had to go up to the upper ball field, that was 1 long ramp.
Yeah. That's a federal guy on that, so.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor? Well,
You gotta hit the button, you can turn it, just turn it different, oh, there you go, you should be on now. You can try
Just
it.
talk into it.
Mr. Mayor, I really don't need a mic. I can talk loud enough. Let me clear my voice real quick. Mr. Mayor, yes, the conversation did start off with signage, but we did have signage at the ball field. I want to clarify that. The Historical Society had handicap signage for that parking lot that was very visible. Just saying.
ADA specifies the color signage and the size of signage and the placement of signage, so that's something that has to be considered as
For
well.
permanency, it does, but when you have an event, it's a little bit different.
But all events do this, even like,
I didn't
what's that
say
big
we're
subdivision
on the
down there off,
Yeah.
I
211?
didn't say the word only on the sign, when I was like, it may have been, I don't understand the word only on the sign, I said, so handicap parking. That could be any of them, all of them, or 2 of them, he just said handicap parking, he didn't say half, he didn't say only, to my knowledge, it's.
Generally, all events, the closest parking to the event, they turn it into handicap.
But we're not gonna debate on something we don't need to debate.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to be debating this.
We need to.
I'd like to say one other thing. Robert Grizzly. You know, when you go out looking for good stuff, happy stuff, sometimes it's hard to find. But if you go looking for trouble, you're guaranteed to find it.
That's true. Anybody else? Okay, well. Should be on. Do I turn it off?
There.
Thank you.
Greetings, everybody. Hope you'll find y'all all in good health. The Lord bless you all. I've just got a few things I'd like to discuss. Echo Mr. Grizzle about civility. My name is Roy Hall. I live at 5152 Mountain View Parkway. I've stated that, I don't know how many times I've been attending these meetings since last year. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, and I'll explain that in a minute. The first thing I'd like to discuss is we should be able to have free and fair elections. I mean, that's all through our country. We should be able to have free and fair elections. Number 2, bad behavior. I've heard there's been signs missing. I've got signs missing. Signs being cut up, even pulling a sign up, the same sign, and leaving it on the ground. These are kind of some of the things that's been going on. And I don't mess with anybody's signs. As far as I know, nobody that's put signs out for me is messing with anybody's signs. So I don't know if people are just doing this just to stir stuff up. I don't know why. I just don't understand it. To me, it's bad behavior. And so we're all adults, I hope. And the third thing is vandalism. Last time I drove my truck was Wednesday.
Wait till the train goes.
Yes, sir. It's hard to talk over that. For the most part, everything's been civil. There's been comments back and forth on Facebook. I stay off the groups. because I don't like to see negative stuff. It gets me upset. I don't say negative things about people. And so I believe in doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's my belief. But it's sad to say that's not happening. It's actually the opposite. People are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So I got in my truck Saturday that I had not driven since Wednesday. And when I got up the hill, I realized the tire was flat. So I stopped and got out and looked at it. And it had been cut with a knife. And I got pictures. And now, the arrows pointing two cuts. One went all the way through.
Isn't
There's two
that
cuts.
a police issue? A criminal issue?
When I realized that it was, I tried to back up until I was on an incline.
Is it?
I realized that when I got out of my truck and I realized it was flat, because you hear that dreaded noise, flap, 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 flap. So how did my tire get flat? So I got out, walked around, and I saw, okay, it's been slashed. So I called 911, a non-emergency, and I had the cop to come to do a report. And so I backed the truck down the hill. When I backed it down about 30, 40 feet, that's when that other damage happened. It's on this page. The cut was from here to here, but this damage here was because I backed down the hill to get it down on better ground where I could fix it. So some people might say, well, how do you know that it's related to the election? I don't think it's a coincidence. I live outside of downtown. You actually have to go out to 365 and turn right even to get to the entrance of my subdivision. There's no question to me, it's pretty easy to draw the line that I'm being targeted as part of this, what's going on. And it might be this. I'm on the front page, my face. I got this Friday. And then Saturday, I found out that Friday night my tire was cut. So to me, this is just unacceptable behavior in my view. So I've been living in, other people might say, how do you know? Okay, maybe it's somebody in the neighborhood. We've been living in this neighborhood for over 8 years. We've never had this kind of thing happen to anybody that I know of in the subdivision. And let me just first say, I forgive the person that did it. I'm not mad, I'm not bitter. I don't believe in doing that kind of thing. You know, it's a tire, it can be replaced. I just think that it's sad that this kind of behavior. And I know it's politically motivated. I know that. I don't know why. It ain't gonna deter me, so I just don't get it. It just cost me $175 to fix it. So, Hall County came out, he verified that it was a cut. The officer did verify it was cut. So, you know, people can laugh if they want to.
It has 3 minutes.
So, is anybody timing this?
No, but I do have a question. When you say, wait a minute, when you say the Hall County, because I asked Garnett, because I did see where you said, or somebody said your tire was cut.
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
know where you live or whatever.
Right.
But I did, how do they know that wasn't a blowout? Because I will tell you,
Ma'am,
Robert ran over something
I know, but
and it gave me a blowout.
4 days
this,
later.
listen,
Huh?
4 days later.
this is a cut right here that didn't go through.
Oh, okay.
This is another cut from here to here that went through. This happened because I backed my truck down the hill so I could get in a better place to change it. So there's two cuts. There's one here, and this one went all the way through.
Okay. So, and you got your statement from the tire company?
No, the officer. He came out
No,
and looked
no,
at.
you got your statement from the
Yes,
tire company?
yes. Well,
that it was a
yeah,
cut?
No, we appreciate it, but we need to
We're
make
in
it
court.
public.
We're having court, I'm asking questions.
I know, that's right. Tonight we
That's all right, anyway.
court.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I'm not trying to
there's
be
no
rude,
question
I'm
it
just
was
trying to
cut.
understand why. when
This is
somebody
not
did
a
this.
court, y'all are not.
Anyway, I was not driving the thing when it busted. It was, I got in my truck and drove out and it was flat. So it happened in my driveway. So anyway, in my view, the council should condemn this kind of behavior. Vandalism is what it is. And there shouldn't be any vandalism,
Sometimes making my point.
to me. And so if you don't publicly condemn vandalism, then you're condoning it. Thank you.
No, I agree with him. No, there's no call for anybody vandalizing nobody, no what. But at the end of the day, did the tire company make a statement that that's not a blowout, that it was cut? Because when we make,
Police officer.
okay, no, but he doesn't change.
Y'all can address those. Just address those.
Okay.
I just want to make this short and simple.
Yeah.
When did y'all get authorized as officers of the court? Because we've held court twice here tonight, and y'all are not officers of the court. I think Mr. Holmes can agree with me on that we're not officers of the court.
Don't want to be.
Y'all up there. Yeah, don't want to be. And I appreciate the mayor's comment before the first citizen's comment. And then twice we've went well over the time. And I'm sorry, I've been up here for the third time. Y'all might want to run me off. But the fact is, this is not the place to hold court. Both incidents right here, it's not. First of all, they should have made a thing to get on the agenda if they wanted to air their grief about how somebody was treated down at the event. Okay? And same thing here. None of this is on the agenda. That's an agenda item, but it's not really an agenda item because y'all are not officers of the court. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, Mordecai.
Give us some inspiration.
Yes.
I want to talk about what citizens want answers to. Have any of us done anything in our lifetime that we regret, that we are ashamed for others to know about? Maybe this has prevented you from doing what is right for yourself or others. Don't be satisfied with a little when you have the opportunity to accomplish what is needed for our future. If our full focus is on progress and moving forward, we can accomplish things we never thought possible. No matter what is keeping us from moving forward, there is a remedy that can be found to make things better for all of us. We citizens will believe that our city will reach its full potential. We aren't going to let things that happened in the past defeat us because we are a strong and wise people. The thing that I and others want to ask each and every one, is there a giant or anything in your life that is preventing you from doing the right and helpful things that can make things a better life for everyone, especially for our children? This community as a whole is helpful and loving. Early last Tuesday morning, I had to be admitted to the hospital because of dizziness. I want to thank all of you wonderful people for your lovely bouquet of flowers that you sent me. And thanks to everyone that took care of me in the hospital. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. One of the most important things that we as the citizens of Lula want from our officials is to know the answer to the question, have you been doing what you were elected to do? Because you were elected to make things better for everyone, especially our children, so they can know how to rear their children for a future of prosperity. Do what is right for everyone, not for a chosen few. I must say that I was unaware that when I was running for election a few years ago, someone had left my name off of the ballot so people could not vote for me. When I found out what had happened, I called to report the mistake and it was corrected. However, a lot of people had already voted before the correction was even made. I must say I wasn't pleased, but I also wasn't bitter, nor did I try to seek revenge against anyone because of the mistake, whether it was intentional or an oversight. There are thoughts in my lifetime when I feel like God has something more in life that I can do besides being on the city council of Lula. However, I am waiting anxiously and patiently to see what God has for me to do. I want to follow His will for me and hope you want the same for yourselves. When I read about the progress Gainesville has made, I have hope that Lula can make such progress too. I believe by the grace of God that all of us, whether we are citizens or officials of Lula, Georgia, can grow and be prosperous for the good of all. I want to thank all of you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I say something? Others have got multiple times to speak. Others have came up.
But it's over with.
It ain't over.
The citizens.
It ain't over. My comments were citizens' comments.
That's closed. We've got enough into council comments. All right, Garnet?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. We've got a nice crowd. And I would also like to thank this crowd and remind them of the way Roy Hall done y'all historical society people for months up there.
Garnet?
What?
We've had enough of calling people out tonight. We've had enough of it. Don't call anybody's name.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Don't call anybody's name.
Can I remind you?
Don't call anybody's name. You do it
Okay.
after the meeting. After the meeting.
No, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm not calling by name. This person went against the Historical Society. Very hard. Very hard.
Not true.
You did do it. You
Not
stood
true.
up and
All right, it's not
apologized to
debate.
Chip.
Garnet, finish your
Had
comment.
nothing to do with the Historical Society. It was about the money. It was about the money being given. It was about the money being given. Had nothing to do with what they
You're
were
right.
doing.
Forget everything.
I said what they're doing is good. I commended them for the Great Fall Festival last year. It's a great thing. It brings a lot of people in the city. It was just about the money that the city's giving.
That's enough.
All right.
That's what it was
All right.
about. Not the
All
Historical
right.
Society.
Quiet him down.
All right. All right, Gene.
I appreciate everybody coming out, voicing your opinion. We got a good crowd tonight. Thank y'all all for coming out.
Thank everybody for coming out tonight, and there was a good crowd out here. I hope that y'all can continue to come out to the meetings. I've said this before, and I would like to reiterate that this isn't a court. I'm not a lawyer. Some of the stuff that y'all bring before us, there's nothing that we can do anything about, and I'll be glad to listen to you vent outside. I don't care a bit. I'm a good listener. But some of it just doesn't need to be up here. We're here to conduct city business, and some of what y'all bring to us is not city business, it's personal. Things that sit on Facebook, we can't control. Things, other people's actions, we can't control, nor do I want to control that. I never asked to, I don't want to be the person to do that. I just want to remind y'all that we're all human up here also. So we all have our faults and failures as well as you guys out there. Be patient with each other. Try to lift each other up instead of put each other down. And don't make me your judge. Thank you.
Very, very well said. Very well said.
Don't want to be.
I know everybody wants to go home. I'll keep it very short. I just want to say thank you for everyone that did attend. I know we had a change of venue. We are here at the depot, and I just want to say thank you for everyone, keeping it civil. This is the kind of discourse that we do need. It's what we're here for as council. We do need to hear, things that are of concern to you. We take notes. We're all sitting up here taking notes and trying to identify, things that we can do to make things better. Curtis, good points. Very glad that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call his name. I'm sorry. Someone in the audience made mention of some handicap spaces, and I think that's certainly a good idea, for parking issues in Lula. So I want to say that. I would say, continue to be engaged. This is what we need. In most cities, they just don't have the engagement of the citizens. And I know, however it came to be, we seem to have grown in, whether, 2 members. I know Joe and I used to attend and be, 4 of us in the audience. And, but then all of a sudden it grew to, 26, 35. We've had 40, 50, 60 in the audience. And I just want to say, that shows that the citizens are engaged and you do care about your city. And we need to continue that. I know that all of us up here, we are, very passionate about, making sure that we are listening to what you bring to us and trying to formulate the best way that we can through committees. A lot of times you don't see all that happens in the background, and sometimes it does take a long time. You've probably heard the city manager say before, it takes a very long time. It goes very slow. So, just know that we are continuing to conduct, city business amidst any, turmoil that may be happening. We certainly, have our meetings, and we certainly are moving the agendas forward. So I appreciate y'all being here and being involved. Don't stop being involved. We need you here. So thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out, and one thing Tony hinted at, and I kind of agree with, if we can say something good or compliment somebody, let's call them by name, damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, you say the good things proudly, the bad things, say it personally. That's what I think we need to remember. Compliment them broadly, criticize them quietly.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to thank all y'all for coming, and we'll do it again next month. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Denise, y'all do.
To adjourn.
Second by Tony Cornett to adjourn. All in
I
favor,
just
say
want
aye.
to be on the jury.
I
like that.
We're adjourned.
Scott.